This is your no bullshit guide to a happier life. Quick, but not necessarily easy tips to help you to squeeze every last drop of enjoyment out of your business and your life. My name is Helen Calvert. I'm a coach, a business owner and a parent, and I'm so happy to be here with you. I do swear occasionally, as the title suggests, so pop in your headphones if I'm not safe for little ears. Ready to go? Let's do this. Hello and welcome to this episode where we are talking about social connection. Social connection as a tool for a happier life. What do we know about hanging out with our friends? It just makes us feel good, doesn't it? We know this. It can sometimes be overlooked as an important tool because if we're fortunate enough to live near our friends and to be well connected with them, we can kind of take it for granted that we see them and it makes us feel good. But it's actually part of our toolkit. It has some very specific benefits and it's a good one to remember. Hanging out with our friends, getting together with other women, hanging out with our mates, it releases oxytocin, the happy hormone, the love hormone. It gets that flowing in us. And it helps us to process stress. If you've heard me talk about the 7 stress processes from the book Burnout, it's one of them, positive social interactions. It helps us to process the stress. So it has some real solid contributing factors to a happier life. If you ever had a big girls' night out and you've got home and you've sort of leapt on your partner, shall we say, feel sexier after a girls' night out, do we? Yeah, it's not the alcohol. Well, it might be partly the alcohol. It's the oxytocin. When we get together with the girls, we end up. That's why groups of women are so scary to groups of guys. The oxytocin's flowing, lads. Watch out. But it does. It gets us in that space because we feel more connected. We feel more loving. It's really important. And I'm going to jump straight in here with the bullshit element to that. This only works with healthy relationships. So if I'm talking about hanging out with your friends, getting together with the girls, hanging out with your mates, I'm talking about those people, you know who they are, those people who really fill your cup. The people with whom you can be yourself. The people who you have the best relationships. When you say, oh my God, we had such a laugh. Because laughter, there's another amazing stress processor. And that comes from those brilliant times when we get together with our true friends. Such a good laugh. Or a good cry, another stress processor. These are the things we do when we get together with our proper friends. But it's got to be those people with whom you feel at ease. It has to be the people who are the real deal. So I'm not talking about those situations where you're in a group and you feel belittled. You feel put down and intimidated and a bit less than. Or where you feel in order to fit in, you have to abandon yourself. And you have to do things or say things or think things that are against your values. Those are the unhealthy relationships. Those are not true friendships. Those are not the ones that you should be seeking as part of your toolkit. They are much more toxic situations. Yes, there is a lot to be said for positive social interactions of any kind. Just a nice exchange with someone in a shop, a smile as you take the dog for a walk. Any kind of positive social interaction where you smile and someone says something pleasant, it's good for us. It is. But if we're talking about real social connection, where we really get together with people, spend time with people, try and fill our cup that way and fill each other's cups that way, it's got to be the real friendship relationships. So I'm not suggesting that you work even harder to spend time with people with whom actually you don't have the best time or you come away feeling depleted. That is not what we're looking for here. We're looking for those relationships that just fill you up. So, what is the mindset block alert with social connectivity? I've kind of alluded to it already in that sometimes we take it for granted. Social connectedness is a necessity, not a luxury. So yes, we network for our businesses, don't we? We get together with other people and we network in some way for our business. We have our family and social obligations. We have the things that we have to do or we feel we have to do. And then we might feel that having a night out or getting together with friends, spending time with friends, that might feel like a little extra cheeky luxury. It's not. It really is vital for our well-being. So it's not about thinking, oh, and then I might squeeze in a cheeky pub trip. It's like, yeah, you should, because it's another really important tool that we need to pull out of the toolkit when we're feeling stressed. When we're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, particularly when we're feeling not just lonely. I think if we were feeling lonely, we would know to reach out. But also when we're feeling kind of got at, you know, that feeling of like, maybe nobody likes me, maybe no one likes my stuff, maybe everyone thinks I'm an idiot. You know, that's a sure sign that we need to renew our connections with the people who really fill our cup. Because we do belong. It's just we may have forgotten. And that sense of belonging is so crucial for helping us to feel safe and happy. So when we get together with the people who are our people, we reduce our stress, we increase our happy hormones, we get more feelings of connectedness, more feelings of belonging. We end up with more love and potentially lust for those around us. It literally fills us up, fills us with oxytocin, fills us with the good feelings, but takes away some of that stress. Often stress is exacerbated by feeling as though we have to carry it all by ourselves. And from a practical point of view, you may well have to do the things yourself, but you don't have to carry the mental load by yourself. And then getting together with friends, even if you don't talk about the things that you're dealing with, although you probably will, it just reminds you that you're not alone, that you have people who are also on this journey of life with you. And it makes everything feel that bit lighter. We're all in it together and we're not by ourselves. So often when we imagine scary scenarios as well, not just the things we're dealing with now, but if we're worried about the future, if we're feeling anxious, whenever we imagine something scary happening, I find we tend to imagine ourselves dealing with it all alone. You know, oh, imagine if this happened, imagine if that happened, what if this, what if that? And what we're picturing is kind of us all by ourselves, suddenly dealing with this huge crisis we've created in our heads. But when we get together with our friends, it reminds us that that is not how it would go down. You know, even the very worst things that could happen to us, or the worst things that have happened to us in our lives, we didn't deal with them alone, and we wouldn't deal with them alone. We know there are people who would show up on our doorstep, right? What do you need? How can I help? You're not alone. Let me cook for you. Let me listen. Let me sort something out for you. Let me look after the kids. It's so important that we remind ourselves that that is the reality, because it makes life feel so much less stressful when we remember that we have a group, you know, a big group, a small group, a tight-knit group, a widespread group. It doesn't matter. You know who your group is. You know who your people are. And it's important to renew and restore and rejuvenate those connections. And it doesn't have to be all the time. We all have friends that we see maybe once a year and it's like nothing's changed. We just connect straight away. You know, this does not have to be a regular thing, but it is a tool to pull out whenever you're feeling like you're kind of all alone with this and you're carrying everything by yourself. It's like, right, time to call the people and arrange to get together, because that social connection will just help to resolve those feelings. And then, of course, it helps with everything. Once we remember that we're not alone, we're not doing this by ourselves, we reduce our stress, we get those happy hormones flowing, we can get so much more done, whatever it is we have to deal with. Kids, family, work, anything. It just rejuvenates us. So I want you to think this week about your social connections. Who are the people who are the real deal and who you know fill your cup and make you feel so much better when you see them? And do you need to get in touch? Do you need to get something in the diary? Do you need to get something regular going? Or do you just need to remember that they're there and reach out to them when you need them? And I want you also to think about who are the people who deplete you and how can you perhaps reduce the amount of time you spend with them, because toxic situations deplete us just as much as wonderful social connections can refill us. So that's something else to think about. And also think about the importance of community, because if that's what it does for us, if it fills us up and gives us all these wonderful things and makes us feel like we belong and reduces our stress, then it does that for our friends too. That's the great thing. It's a situation where everybody benefits. Everybody gets those things from social connection. And how do we maintain that? Well, yes, we get together and we arrange nights out and we try to remember each other's birthdays, and it all slips into these kind of obligations. But also we reach out for help when we need it, because you cannot maintain a community or a social group if there isn't need between you all. And if everybody kind of deals with their own shit and just gets on with it and doesn't want to bother anybody, then you don't have a community anymore. You just have a handful of people who maybe make small talk on occasion. So if you want them to reach out to you and to feel like you're there for them and that they belong, then you need to be reaching out and making them feel needed too. So social connection, yes, it's amazing when you go out and have such a good time and such a good laugh and just, it's just like the best, isn't it? But it's deeper than that. It's about reminding each other that you're there for each other. And you can do that by helping people when they need you. But you also do that by reaching out to people when you need them. So this whole idea of I don't want to bother people, I don't want to burden people, I don't want to dump on people, I don't want to rant at people, it's actually nonsense. I call bullshit on that. Because, when we share our troubles with others, that's how we deepen our connection with others. And we're not asking them to fix everything for us, but we're just reaching out and telling them that there are people and that they are the people that we reach out to when we need them. So it's about using social connection as a tool when you need it. And it's about remembering what that social connection really is. The deeper side to community, reaching out to each other when we need to. So that's what I want you to think about this week, and social connection being a necessity. Get those dates in the diary, get some nice things planned. It's worth it. It will help with everything and definitely contribute to a happier life. Until next time, be excessively kind to yourselves and squeeze every last drop of enjoyment out of life. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. Did you know that my first book is now available to purchase online? Check out the show notes for details of how to get your hands on a copy. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave me a review, and don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are up. If you would like to work with me one-to-one or follow more of my content, you can find out how in the show notes. See you next time.